Okay, it's 10 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Will you please stand and say the pledge with us? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Melvin, let the record show everyone's present. Okay, first up is our consent agenda. Everybody reviewed?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. First up, Cammie Willett, Chair, East Pot County Soil and Water. Discussion under decision on funding for dry hydrants for East Pottawatomie County Soil and Water Conservation District. Cammie.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Officially. Thank you for allowing us to be on your agenda. So this morning we were hoping our goal is to put some more dry hydrants. If you're not familiar with dry hydrants, as we did on our legislative tour last year, dry hydrants are a device where rural volunteer fire departments can bring their tanker trucks, bring them in, hook them up, and get water to fight community fires, grass fires, basically anything. And so versus trying to go all the way back to a water source in town or somewhere, which potentially could take, 15, way more time. And so our goal is we currently have 5 hydrants. Some of them need a little bit of attention. Silting happens just with rain and nature and things that we can't control. They need some dredging out, some different things. And so our goal for the safety, obviously, of our community, but it also, when fires break out, it takes the trash, what we call it, the residue of what's left from the crops, and it can burn that. And so what that does is expose soil, and we lose good topsoil and water. So there's a lot of components to it, but our goal is to put 10 more dry hydrants in on the east side of the county, just because water is obviously an issue to get to. And so we applied for a grant, hoping that we would be able to fund that through a grant. We're trying every avenue we can for our communities. And so unfortunately, there was only $150,000 in this grant, and so they had 5 applicants, and so we weren't able to go that route. And so we were hoping to present it here, and Mr. Wickman was at our last board meeting, and we talked about it some more, and so here we're coming to the board to request funding to help support get those in. We have 6 landowners already agreed to give up some of their real estate or close to a hard surface road so that no matter what the weather is, a fire truck can get to it and hook up there and get water. We already have 6 lined up. Our proposal was, it was a 3-year grant, 3 for this year, 5 for next year, and then 2 the last year. And so we're still in line with that as far as Mother Nature. We can get 3 at a minimum done this year. 1 would take a little bit more of, work to get it installed, but basically what we're here is to request funding to help us with those dry hydrants.
Cammie, your fiscal year runs the same as ours, correct?
July 1,
Right, okay.
June 30th, yeah.
Now all we need is rain, right?
Well, not right now. We could have used it for the last month and a half, but
Yeah.
it's a little.
Okay.
So.
Questions?
And I believe our Secretary Susan forwarded the grant for if you have any, questions on that, I do.
Would that get you a dry hydrant in every township?
Yes. And it would be, we have the 5, and then so this would get us a dry hydrant in every township.
What's the amount of your request?
Well, like I said, some of them would need some maintenance on the current ones that we have, and we looked at some of them when we went on that tour. So Our grant originally was, the one we submitted, but we were hoping with the dredging and flushing, there's a maintenance to them. Obviously, you're limited on what we can do throughout the year if it's freezing. But we are requesting 75,000. And that would install, those install on page 3. That includes all the special attachments that the fire trucks would need to, as the picture shows, that at the Young Pond in Grove Township, they would need those attachments so that they could.
Approximately how much time can be saved if they could go to a dry hydrant versus having to go back into town?
I think that varies depending on where the fire is, the wind direction, who's all responding. I know, Chris, if you had some unfortunate firsthand experience with fire that took out buildings. There was a pond close, which is the Young Pond, the one in your paperwork there, but it really varies. We had a fire just right outside of Hancock here about a week and a half ago, and the road by Schooler that's closed, it posed some issues with getting access to it, and so, when you're hauling water down gravel roads and stuff, so it would vary, Tim. I think I don't know, anywhere from 15 to probably 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
If it's a grass fire and wind, it's obviously gonna be moving fast.
You're gonna have
If it's a
several
structure
trips.
fire.
You're gonna have several trips, if there's a bigger fire. So if the dry hydrant's 2 miles from the fire and you have to drive 10 miles to town, over time, the miles
Adds
add
up.
up. So every trip that you need to go refill, the closer it is, the quicker you'll be able to put the fire out.
And get it contained before it gets to communities or into towns if it is a grass fire. Over the years.
Tammy, you're asking for 75. Is that over the 3-year period?
It could be if that would be better for your budget. We won't probably get them all put in this year, but obviously.
You're talking 3 this year?
That was what our grant was for, but like I said, we have 6 people lined up that are willing to do it right now, this year. And fortunately, it's not something like terraces or something like that where you're limited if it's too dry or too wet. So this is something that we can do, or the contractor can do, doesn't matter what the weather is.
When you live rural, it's so important to get that fire truck back there, that tanker back so quick.
What's the annual maintenance gonna be on these things?
Basically, as long as the fire departments will have trainings and flush them occasionally, that's the main thing. If they can keep them flushed out so they don't silt in,
Is there an
If-
agreement with
if they
someone
do
with
that,
them?
that's all there is to it.
There's not a written agreement. Between the board and we went to every single one of the.
Right, I see that, you got the
Yeah.
letters.
And I think that's one of the important parts is the fire departments have been very open to say, these are really helpful to us.
Right, no, there's no doubt about it.
Walnut has been one that's really been aggressive, Macedonia has too.
Right.
Some of the smaller ones, really, this is a significant improvement for them to be able to hook up right there.
Cause that one out there on, is it 44 or 43? What's that road outside Walnut there that has a dry hydrant?
Yes,
Yeah,
coming down,
What's that?
coming out of Walnut and
Yeah,
down.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That thing got
Yes.
water in it now or
That's one that,
that's one that,
Needs,
cleaned
is
out?
silted in, it
Yeah.
needs cleaned, yeah.
Yeah,
there's probably some opportunity for some changes above to keep that, so.
But with the water restrictions right now in all the communities,
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's
that's,
really
a lot of
key.
times they rely on your FS and your different ag that are more than willing to back up the truck, and fill it. But unfortunately, with the water restrictions, they can't do that. And so we very much will be relying on these. Or they will.
Okay, where would this money come from if we went with it?
I'll make a motion that we provide $75,000 to East Potawatomi Soil Conservation District for dry hydrants coming out of gaming, and request that we get verification of the expenses.
I'll second.
Is there the money that we give for the PL 566s? What is it, 10,000 a year? You guys could use for some of that?
The maintenance fund for the PL 566 structures.
Yeah.
I mean, these aren't necessarily gonna be on 566
No, I
sites.
understand that. But what's that, what kind of money are you sitting on there, 100?
Well, Becky
Yeah,
just
I-
sent it out this morning. The fund balance.
Yeah, it's 100, it's 100 somewhere in there, I
Okay.
don't know
It
exactly.
just keeps
on the
growing,
maintenance.
doesn't it?
We try and do some stuff every year. It's not, hasn't been any real big money items, but, you know, a lot
Well,
of
you don't have much of them.
trees, you know,
much of
stuff
them
like
out there,
that, just little maintenance. Yep,
Okay,
Do you use that money for construction,
no,
just maintenance?
just maintenance, that's the way it's set up.
We do have a bid out right now. We got six structures that need either tree removal. We have some cement decaying, several things, and so we have a bid out now to get those.
Okay.
About 133 and a half
okay.
right now.
Where'd you get that number?
It's on,
From
it's
our
on
fund
Becky's
balance?
sheet.
Oh,
Sheet, Becky sends it out every Tuesday morning.
I can't get into my email, but,
Yeah, if you do, you gotta.
okay.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve $75,000 from gaming for dry hydrants. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, you're welcome.
Well, I think it helps so much. Now, just rain. Okay, next up, our favorite, the Beaver Bounty Program Extension. That seemed to work a lot last year. You guys took us on a trip last year around the county. We saw a lot of damage from the beavers. It was enlightening how much damage does happen there. And it happens to bridge abutments and stuff like that too. There was one underneath the bridge. So,
So it's a preventive thing to hopefully, hopefully address the issue before it gets to where it's backed up, washing out like the one we saw with the bridge, and have issues with the bridge or road washout, those type of things. So because it was mid-season, we think as a board, I think it went very well. We used over half the money, and it basically, was after the first of the year, and the season went to April. So we got people talking about it already. So I at this point, I don't think that we would ask for more money. I would like to see that used up, and then we can readdress if
we committed 5,000.
yes, 5,000.
Pardon me, you used 34. You used
Oh,
34.
3,400. I was thinking right at 3,000. So.
And that was $25?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
A head, tail, a tail, not a head, literally a tail.
I'll make that motion. Continue
I'll
the
second.
project, 5,000.
So is that an additional 5,000 or,
No, it's just 5,000 for this year.
Replenish it back.
okay,
And with the season starting November 1, it'll obviously, and people are more aware of it, and we've been putting it in our flyers and whatnot, so getting the education out. I
okay,
did not foresee that it won't be all used up.
your motion is to replenish it up to 5,000, Tim?
To provide $5,000.
5,000 more?
No. To provide $5,000
Okay.
for this year.
Because they didn't spend it all last year, correct?
correct.
That just went back into the cash reserve of the general fund.
Okay. Got a motion and a second to approve $5,000 for the Beaver Bounty Program. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. You got it, you guys? Thank you.
Thank you
so
for
much.
coming in.
Thanks.
Okay,
Yeah, appreciate it.
Dave Bird. He did not come in. So, discussion and/or decision. Dave Bird is the president of Jenny Edmondson Hospital. Discussion and/or decision on letter of support for Methodist Jenny Edmondson Behavioral Health. This is that new hospital they've been talking about for mental health that they're looking at for South 24th Street.
So moved.
Okay?
Second.
This is just a letter of support.
Correct. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Cool. Okay, here we go. John Rasmussen, engineer. Discussion and/or decision to reject, approve, continue, set final hearing date, or modify the Honeysuckle Special Assessment Proposal from 185th Street east to the dead end as a result of public hearing from August 22nd. Got anything, John? Anything new?
Nothing to add. You guys had copies of the objection letters. They were received after the public hearing. They were allowed to submit them up till noon in August. Those copies went out to you. There was a error in the traffic count. I made some corrections on those and also sent them out to you.
Well, I believe this has gone on long enough. I think we ought to approve it. I think the thing ought to go through. We're here, we're living close into Council Bluffs, and I think the city, the roads need to be improved around here. It's a cost, but, I mean, they've done away with buggy whips too, so I'm in favor of it myself. So, any other speaking?
Yeah, this started before I actually got involved with the board and, on board, and, I'm gonna say it's gone long enough. We need to have a decision today, that's what I'm gonna say. I was out in that area here last week. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. You can't tell me at some point there isn't gonna be opportunities out there, and I'm sure there is. It's private property, the pond out there is beautiful. It would make a great county park. You can't tell me we couldn't incentivize the landowners out there to donate for a park facility out there. There's certainly room for high-end housing out there. It's all gonna happen. People that have the means and go out there and take a look at that, they say, I wanna be here, I wanna live here, I wanna be part of this. They're gonna find a way to do that. And so you can't tell me there isn't gonna be opportunity out there. And I'm all for opportunity and just to be consistent, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna accept the 13 to 12 petition vote. When the board accepted that petition, I'm gonna say that's legitimate enough for me. I'm all for it.
John, has the road count change and the change in the responsibilities of the people living on that road, has that been provided to them?
No, it hasn't. I need direction from you if that's a change you want to consider. I provided that to you. The change in cost, if you want to use the new traffic counts, was 60% additional to the petitioners. They reduced both the maintenance costs as well as the county contribution.
But I think that, with the corrected traffic count and the responsibility on the property owners for the expense, if we use that, they should be afforded at least the opportunity to review that, don't you believe?
Yes.
Before we just make that change. This thing has been close to a disaster since the beginning. We have parcels that were inadvertently left out. We have parcels that were left out of this project, and I just don't think it's legitimate enough for me to move it forward. So.
Well, to be, and then the code says fair and just. To be fair and just, shouldn't they get all the actual numbers that, or are we not gonna do that if we go forward?
That's kind of where I'm stuck at. So Matt Wilbur's not here tonight, is he? Oh, there he is. Did some soul searching with Matt there, and I don't know if you want to weigh in, but I mean, you had the best numbers we had at the time when we did it. So I think it's really up to you if you want to direct me that you're going to accept that error on the traffic count, or if you want to send out the new numbers as far as what the cost would be for the petitioners. I don't know that that's my decision at this point, since the petition made it to the finish line with that data.
Well, I think the facts are the facts. I mean, we don't wanna,
Right.
I mean, if we're gonna continue to make errors, then that's not for the next road. I mean, what do we do for that one? We gotta get it right, I think.
I agree.
But what's the additional cost to the county for not passing on the additional calculation from the car count difference? Does that make sense?
It was roughly 74,000 additional cost to the county, or the petitioners, whichever way you want to look at it. For the entire petition, it'd be about 60% per owner on their assessments as it works out. So it's pretty significant.
But we all know this isn't an easy decision. It's like a 50-50 coin toss, and we can't keep kicking the can down the road. We need, I agree with Jeff, we need to make a decision today, one way or the other. I believe that Iowa code needs to be changed. I think that the 50% to sign the petition is too low. I think it needs to be more like 75% or 60% at least, so that we don't have this 50-50 split. I believe the methodology of the county engineer and the county attorney's office was sound, but without date stamping, it's been a moving line in the sand, in my opinion, with all of the facts that have come in after the petition was delivered. I've driven the road both physically and virtually. I was on Google Maps all weekend, just looking at it from different angles, and I get it. I understand why it's viewed as necessary to leave it the way it is, and why it's necessary to improve it. I really don't know which way to go, but I do know that at the end of the day, you're all still neighbors. You don't have to be neighborly, but you have to be neighbors. Make us the bad guys. Don't take it out on your neighbors if you don't get the way that you want. It's just important, and I think checking your speed is one of the ways that you can be neighborly out there.
Okay, we did go over, just a few years ago, there was a change in the percentage from, I believe, was it 75% before, John?
Used
And
to
we
be
went
100,
down to
yes.
50%, correct?
Mhm.
So that's kind of where we landed on this. So to go back puts them at a disadvantage yet again for, here we are at uncommitted and not doing anything with it. And gonna redo the whole system yet again. And I just don't think that's fair.
Well, based on the changes in the traffic count, the new numbers for the residents on that road, the questions concerning parcels that should or should not have been included, I would make a motion to reject the special assessment proposal for Honeysuckle Road.
I can't make a motion, I can't second, I can't do anything.
Well, I'll second it for discussion.
Okay?
Because I just think those people all deserve the correct information. You know, I just don't think it's fair that we switch, if we're gonna switch the road count, that everybody gets to see that. And, you know, is it up to us to say, well, we'll take the $75,000 hit? I don't know if that's fair either. You know,
What is total cost on it right now?
220?
Total cost is $226.
I would just point out legally, you don't have to accept either track account. I mean, the reality is it's county policy, it's not state code. The petition was filed with a certain assumption, based on the current information the DOT had. That information may or may not be correct. If you wanted to adopt what you believe to be the new traffic count and increase the amount that goes to the petitioners, you'd be able to do that. The code's pretty clear that you can accept, reject, modify, however you want. You'd be well within your rights to say this was the petition, this is what it was signed at, this is the information that we went on. You'd be fine to adopt it with the current costs that were there. I don't know, legally, politically, however it goes, polling the people after when you're going to change the numbers, I don't know that that's a great idea. Regardless, when you sign the petition, you sign the petition. You don't get to sort of unsign it. You may regret it. I'm not saying that shouldn't weigh into your decision on whether you want to pass or not pass this.
When was this petition accepted by the board? What date?
Well, whatever date it's filed with the engineer, that's the
Okay,
date
all right.
the petition is.
Couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
It was several weeks ago, yeah, I don't have the date.
Okay, all right.
So my point is, you could say we're going with the percentage that was part of the petition, and you would be perfectly justified under Iowa Code Chapter 311. You could say we are going under what we believe to be the now current traffic count and that percentage. You'd be well justified under 311. You could say I'm splitting the difference because I can't hardly make a decision. You go in between.
Well,
You'd be fine doing that.
We can split the difference.
You have to have a rational basis for making your decision, but you do not have to have the code. I agree with Susan. I mean, it is a horribly written chapter. It is very vague. It puts a lot of pressure on you as a board because you have a lot of discretion without a lot of guidance. So that's the best I can tell you.
I would like to see this decision decided today, or this issue decided today. So, go, no go, whatever. If not, how much longer is this gonna drag out? We're looking at, what, a couple of years?
Over 3 years, I believe
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, it's long enough, long enough. So that's where I'm at.
I'd like to see us do the split the costs.
So if we split the difference, what's that look like? Contribution rate
36, 37,000.
says approve the contribution rate, date, time of final appointment and determination for, set a rate at. What's that? We have to have another meeting to set the rate and final apportionment and determination.
Yeah, I think you still have to have a final hearing on that.
So we still have to have a final hearing?
I think if we change the amount that goes back to the property owners, I think they should get a chance to weigh in again.
Well, that's
100%.
That's kind of what I was saying,
But
that everybody should get, to be fair and just, everybody should get the facts.
So if we prove it today, then you go back and set your rate and get the exact cost, and then we have another hearing? Is that what?
It's up to the board, as Matt Wilbur said,
Yep.
that it's so wide open. It's just that, we set a precedent by making changes for one specific project, especially if we have others that are already looking at this to decide if they want to move forward with it. That's why I made the motion to reject. If they were provided with the correct numbers and their responsibility, it shouldn't take that long for them to get another petition signed and present it again.
We have done special adjustments on roads, quite a few of them, actually. So, I don't think-
Which roads are you talking about?
well, let's do the Lewis and Clark Road, the Monument Road, Hunt Avenue.
Those
I
were,
think there was a couple others out there that,
those were in John Rasmussen's plan for seal coat based on traffic count. That isn't anything that this board specifically
think they
voted
were.
on.
but I do feel that the other side of the dam is seal coated. This side needs it bad. And I think these people deserve an answer today, and I think they deserve the road seal coated. That's what I think.
Well, there's a motion on the floor. And,
Yep, and we're still discussing.
John, how long would the seal coat last before it needs to be redone?
You kind of go into maintenance cycle. 10-9 traffic count is probably go about 15 years. So it's about 8 to 15, really, depending on how heavy the traffic is.
8 to 15?
Yeah.
And
You
you're-
know, the issue is brought up whether the road is actually safe to drive on. I drove up there, that first hill you climb up there, it's bumpy. You can't go much faster than 5-10 mile an hour to go up there. And I know dirt roads, county roads, you know, especially county roads got hills on them. A road base is you know, tends to shift to the side. And that way, you know, it has a crown, and that road has a crown on those hills. And it tends to shift down, creating the ripples in the road. That's what dirt roads are. They're a road base that shifts. If you seal it, if moisture doesn't collect in there over time, then I think you have resolved a lot of that. John, would I correct to say that?
Yeah, the washboards the gravel just dries out, yeah, that's a.
Yeah,
That's right.
because there's no gravel, you know, with the crown on there, there's no gravel in the center. All the gravel will always shift off to the side. And again, I'm gonna say that it is difficult to drive on in large sections of that road. But again, I'm gonna say it's a beautiful, beautiful area. I think, putting a seal coat on that, making it drivable, I think a lot of people are gonna be driving out there and taking an interest. How do I get out in this neck of the woods? It's beautiful, I love it. And I'm gonna say there's an opportunity, and opportunity's gonna start with that resurfacing that gravel road. That's me. And again, today is the day for me.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Well, I don't know how we split the difference.
Split the difference in half.
Yeah, how we do that.
Like Matt Wilbur says.
John's gotta come back and give us the numbers and then,
Well, I'll say under three, because I'm looking at the code as we go, right? So 311.11 subsection 8, at the hearing, the amount apportioned to any tract or parcel of land may be increased or decreased without further notice. So if you don't accept the numbers that are in the petition, because you believe the traffic count is off, or you want to compromise, or you want to do whatever, you have the authority to up or down the numbers without going forward. And I think the code, as vague as it is, does contemplate at some point there needs to be an end. As much as I enjoy coming here every 2 weeks, and the other 10 people that are here on this, on pros and cons, I'm sure enjoy coming here every 2 weeks. I would certainly be in favor of you having some decision so that we can move on to other topics. But
I would
you are
agree.
not required at all to set this
But-
down the line and have everybody come back in and talk about what do they think if you increase or decrease or split the difference. When they signed the petition, that part of the code is in place, that they were put on notice that costs could go up or down without further notice. So you're not required to do anything.
so.
There's a substantial change in the responsibilities of every taxpayer on that road. And just approving it with the road count without notification of those people, I think is a mistake. I don't think it's fair, it's not just, and it's, in my opinion, it's not equitable either. So that's where I'm at.
Well, I think the majority signed the petition, and it needs to go.
So
Needs
if
to go
we,
through.
if there's a motion to split the difference,
Well, right now, you have a motion to reject. You have a motion and a
Right.
second to reject, so that's what's currently.
approve or reject.
I'm saying though,
He said
Tim made a
reject.
motion to
Okay.
reject and you seconded it, so that
Right,
is what is currently on the
for
floor.
discussion, right.
You gotta take a vote on that, then, if you wanted to have, if that doesn't pass, if it passes, then you're done and it's rejected. If that doesn't pass, then somebody can make a motion to approve or modify, I guess you'd make a motion to modify it with, either,
The
you know, if that's.
right numbers, or split the difference.
Sure, whatever three of you agree upon, that's your
Okay.
decision.
Right.
Okay. Got a motion and a second on the floor to reject the petition as presented to the board. Melvin, will you do a roll call?
You bet. Chairman Shea.
No, I do not.
Okay. Supervisor Bell.
No,
Miller.
Aye.
Jorgensen.
No.
And Wickman.
Aye.
Okay.
We have three
so I'll make
noes,
a motion
2 ayes.
to have John go back and split the difference and bring us back the numbers and get this thing going.
And communicate it to the property owners?
I assume so.
I think the petition, they all know about where it is. I have no problem with that, but I think the petition, the code states it may go up or down as whatever. We're just accepting. Got a motion to approve this. I need a second.
Second.
Okay.
Scott, so how, once you provide the new numbers to the people that are on that road, what do we do if 5 of them say, that's too much, I don't want no part of it? What do you do with that?
No. They've already said some of them, they don't want no part of it.
No, okay, what happens if you have some people on the, yes side that say, that's too much for me, I no longer want to support it?
According to Matt, it doesn't matter, they've signed the petition.
You're just gonna force that on them?
I didn't
Yeah.
force it on them.
First of all, I just want to clarify what the motion is, because Scott's made a motion to modify, and I heard the motions to approve. I mean, I understand the code to be when you're moving to modify, that you're moving to approve the petition with modifications. But I want to make sure that that is clear, that the 5 of you are all on the same page as far as what the
Okay.
motion is.
Is that your motion?
Yes.
Scott? Modify and approve?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Oh.
Oh, you already?
No, I got
Jeff.
Jeff already seconded.
Okay.
All in favor, or wait, Melvin.
Okay,
Do a roll
this is a
call.
motion to approve and modify the numbers, correct?
Yes.
Now approve the petition. Chairman Shea,
Aye.
Supervisors Miller,
Aye.
Wickman,
Nay.
Jorgensen,
Aye.
and Bell.
Aye.
Okay, there we go.
Motion carried. At least we got it done. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the time that was spent on this.
A long time.
Time.
Hmm?
And the tree at the,
It's a tree. Okay.
You have too much fun, Bernie? Well, there's other things that need to be done.
Thanks for what you all do out there, really.
See
You
ya.
guys do a good job out there.
See ya.
Okay, giving it a second to clear out. Next up, Matt Wyatt, Director of Planning and Development, and/or Pam Kalstrup, Coordinator Zoning and Land Use, Planning and Development. Discussion under decision to authorize the board to sign resolution number 62, 2023, authorizing an economic development forgivable loan with Robert J. Mings.
Oh, yes, so Bob Mings is continuing on with his development that he has there. We have the documents back from the attorney's office for the forgivable loan. It's a loan not to exceed $420,000. But the amounts are gonna be based on actual costs, right? So if the road cost comes in less, then it'll wind up being less. We do have some protection measures in there about the lots being listed for sale within 90 days. And the
Matt,
loan,
90 days of what?
90 days of the road completion.
Okay.
Then
Who's setting the price on the lots?
The developer would, wouldn't he?
Are they gonna be a consistent price for each lot, or do we know?
do you know yet, Bob?
They're gonna be close.
In price?
Yes.
Okay.
So then the loan amount actually gets forgiven based on the number of completed houses each year. So within the calendar year, 4 homes get completed, then $35,000 per
By
house.
completed four of them per year, that's certificate of occupancy.
Correct.
Okay, and so if they only get 3, then what?
Then it's the amount based on 3. So it's about $35,000 per home that we get forgiven.
So we're giving them, how many homes is it total?
12.
But we're giving them 10 years to build 12 homes. Right? I mean, that's agreement, right? 20,
Where are you seeing that?
2033. Well, I read it here on the, it's 2033, isn't it?
2034, January 31, 2034.
Yeah, 2034. That's 10 years, right?
Based on about the time when it would be completed, yes. We're September 23
Are we
right
saying
now.
we'll be done, they'll be done with the,
But if it's 12 homes for a year, it'd only be, 3 or 4 years.
Correct.
Okay. And then, and God forbid, if something happens to Mr. Ming, there's no guarantee in here that I saw. So what would be,
Guarantee of them being completed.
of the monies if, say, it doesn't happen?
So no money goes out up front. He's going to put the roads in, pay for the cost, pay for the cost of it up front, right? So the county is gonna have roads in place.
We're not gonna start paying until then, when he gets the roads done.
Correct. This is
And the house is done.
right.
Okay.
This is not the houses, the roads. This is not funds up front for the roads. The roads will get put in, they get paid for. Mr. Mings then submits his invoices to us, and then that's when the county then pays that money out
Invoices
for the road.
for the road after the first 4 houses are done.
No,
So he is gonna get paid for the road.
no. The roads get put in place.
Right, and then we pay.
Concrete's down, then he can submit his invoices for reimbursement on this forgivable note.
Right,
Then he can get reimbursed for that as new homes are being constructed right then.
okay,
But it's not dependent upon new homes already being constructed, because then that was going to then forgive the note to the county.
okay.
And you're saying that's as, like the TIF, a TIF agreement would be. We talked about that before.
Right, the TIF agreement would have been, or could
Right.
have been, immediately, then they're just receiving those property tax dollars for the next up to 20 years. The
Right.
county would, so the county's gonna immediately be receiving these tax dollars back because there's no TIF agreement there.
There's no minimum assessment on the house though, right? Housing,
No.
okay.
Mr. Ming, what's your average price on housing?
I'd say minimum would be 500,000.
And how many acres was it each?
2 acre lots.
2 acre lots? They seem to go pretty fast in this county. Anything that goes up for sale goes quick.
We still, I mean, we're definitely in a lot shortage of, if you're gonna build anything rurally.
Other questions? Anyone?
I don't have any issues with it. I think that, this board has been pretty proactive on economic development as, you all remember the Pioneer Trail Project, the help we've provided for rural water, to chipping the interior roads for Harlan Properties and Hughes Real Estate. And I think this is the right move to do. It provides housing, open up maybe some lesser expensive homes once people move into those that Bob plans to build. So I'll make the motion to approve and move forward.
I'll second.
Melvin, will you do a roll call?
You bet. Chairman Shea,
Aye.
Supervisors Belt,
Aye.
Wickman,
Aye.
Miller,
Nay,
and Jorgen. Aye.
I just want to go on record. I'm in favor of the subdivision, but I'm not in favor of the county paving the road to put it in there.
Motion carried. Okay, thank you. Next up, Jason Slack, Director of Buildings and Grounds, and Jeff Thulin, Chief Deputy Sheriff's Office. Discussion and/or decision to approve and authorize chairman to sign the certificate of substantial completion for the sheriff's expansion. Got all the little bugs worked?
Yeah, they've been making headway on the punch list. And in my opinion, the remaining items on the punch list aren't enough to keep the county from signing off on the substantial completion.
And they're still working.
Yeah, there's still just a handful of issues that are outstanding, so,
But we're gonna withhold 100,000 still, right?
yes.
Okay,
Good. Let's get this
I'll
done.
make that motion.
Okay?
Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Jason, that's been a long road, hasn't it?
It sure has, yeah. We're getting there.
They just want to scoot out the door and be done with things, don't they?
No,
That's not good. Thanks for being vigilant on that.
thank you.
Next up, Jana Lemrick, Director of Human Resources, and Jeff Franco, Deputy Director of Conservation. Discussion and/or decision to approve pay range for environmental education part-time educator position. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
We
This
don't have that
position,
already?
what was that, Scott?
We don't have that already, huh?
We do have that position already, so they're environmental educators, and this position is in charge of helping and leading the field trips that come out to the park. Anything you want to add to that? They do?
No, that's largely, we use interns in the summer to offset our workload. In the shoulder seasons during the school year, we get a lot of schools that come out to the parks for field trips. Our current staff's not enough to handle individual field trips, so we supplement our staff with part-time educators to assist with that.
And so these part-time educators are very part-time. Obviously, there's ebbs and flows in the season, but they're very part-time, and so we're asking to increase the pay to $15 an hour.
15?
Right, it was less than 15, right, so we're asking for $15 an hour.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve the pay range up to $15 an hour. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Got it.
Thank you.
Okay. Jeff, are you gonna be around a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, Jana Lemrick.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I was looking.
Where are you going? Recent discussion and decision to approve and authorize board to sign memorandum of understanding between Potawatomi County and the General Drivers and Helpers Union Local 554 for the employees of Pot County Jail detention officers effective October 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
So the board has already approved this MOU at 50 cents. So when we came to you and talked about the different levels that we're putting into the jail in regards to our detention officers, corporals, sergeants, and lieutenants, the corporal one is the one that has not been finalized or filled or posted yet. So when Steve Winchell and I had some conversations about the corporal, we did think that the union was on board with the 50 cents, but they are not. They would like $1. So when I brought it to the board months ago, it was with the assumption that the union was already in favor. You're going to sign it, then I'm going to take it to the union to sign it, and they have not agreed to sign it. They wanted some changes to the job description, which we have worked through. That has been corrected, and now they want that additional pay to be $1. So if you are chosen as a corporal in the jail, your pay is automatically $1 higher than what the detention officers receive. So one caveat with that is that I will say that your deputies have asked for years during union negotiations to increase their corporal pay. And last year was the first year that it was agreed to do so. So they really had to work up to that and ask multiple times before it was approved.
What's your recommendation?
This is a new position for the jail. I would like to see it stay at 50 cents and then see how it goes. And then with the next negotiation cycle, ask to have it raised $1 at that time. If the board doesn't approve it, then I go back to the union and then we still can't post and fill these positions.
How many are there, corporals?
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know how many they would want. And so we're not adding new staff, it's current staff.
Right.
And then they're going to be, it's not repurposed, but selected to be corporal. So they're still on the floor being detention officers. As a corporal, they'd be in charge of some projects here and there depending on what comes up. But they would get this additional pay for every hour that they work. Yes.
Jana, you said something about accepting the 50 cents this time around, next time we may be negotiating for $1.
Correct.
Have you relayed that to them?
Yes.
Okay.
And I did relay that to the union, and Steve has as well, and the union still wanted me to bring it to the board and ask you for $1.
I would agree with your assessment. I think that's the way we gotta go. Just me.
What's the cost? We don't know, right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how many. I mean, for sure there would be 4 because they have 4 different shifts, right? So for sure for
$4,000.
yeah, I mean, it's not a large cost. Yeah, about $4,000 without considering overtime.
Can we approve this with, limiting the number of corporals to 4? That would be running his jail. We can't do that.
Well, and I would like to take that back to him because I don't know exactly what Steve has, how many exactly he has planned for this. I know it's a minimum of 4.
So when would this be? October 1st, so we have a
Yes.
little bit of time. Could you go back and ask Steve what his intentions are?
How
How
many?
many corporals he plans to have? And then, I don't know, that's just my opinion. I mean, the board can do whatever they
Well,
want.
I think that's part of it, and I think Jeff's part of it is, we might as well, take Janet's suggestion on the 50 cents and we'll get our both answers back.
But we've already made that call, right?
No?
Yeah, the board has signed an MOU for 50 cents months ago, but the union has not signed it.
Okay, well, so.
So I could go
so
back to the
this
union.
we don't need to do this motion then again?
No, if you would like to keep it at 50 cents, you just would
Okay,
deny this MOU, and then I take it back to the union and say the board would like to keep it at 50 cents. We will put it in our negotiations for next year. Would you like to sign it? And then we'll see what they do.
okay. Yeah. So do we need to do anything on this?
I guess you could just, you could either deny it or just let it die. I guess if you don't make any motion, it just dies, right?
Okay.
Right, Melvin?
I would think so.
Okay.
You just let them know that they're, didn't move on it, so let's go
Okay.
back to the drawing board with them.
Okay.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Well, we just discussed
Can you-
that.
Okay, no, I'm just asking,
Yeah.
that's a formality.
All right.
All right. That's it, and, okay. Committee appointments. Thank you, Jana.
You're welcome.
I don't have any to report from last week, but there's some things on the calendar for this week I wanted everybody to know about. Iowa West is hosting a rural summit from 10 to 2 at the Carson Community Building on Friday. I didn't know if you guys all got invitations to that or not.
No.
There's pancakes at Botany Park on Saturday. And Minden's Volunteer Fire Department is hosting dinner on September 11th.
What was the date of that rural summit? I might invite myself.
Friday, September 8th.
It's this Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, what time?
10 to 2.
Is it the Minden Cookout, 6 to 8 on Friday?
5 to 7.
5 to 7, that's close.
You were close.
Is there an agenda for that rural summit?
Yes, there is. You want me to get it to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, next up, public comment. I'm gonna read this real quick. Now begins our public comment portion of the agenda. In an effort to protect the privacy of individuals and reduce potential broadcasting of defamatory or confidential information, our live broadcast will now end. Information regarding public comments and public